What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. And it is one of the best times of the year for sports. We are finally getting over the lull of football being done. Baseball season is starting in a week, and March Madness starts on Thursday. Well, actually, it's starting right now with Howard and Wagner and a couple of the play-in games. But the first round officially, in my mind, gets underway on Thursday. So welcome back to the channel. All my baseball subscribers and all the new subs, I'm sure just what you were waiting for, me to talk college basketball. If you are new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, helps out the channel tremendously. And if you're wondering why a guy in a Mariners hat, a Kenny Easley jersey, and a Geno Smith jersey, if you're wondering if he should be trusted with March Madness picks, the answer is absolutely not. I do this for fun. If I do not pick your favorite team or your school, it is not personal. I promise you, my school is not in the NCAA tournament this year. So I can assure you it is nothing personal. I do this for fun. I do not have a lot of college basketball knowledge. I know the game of basketball. Used to be a huge college hoops fan when I was in high school. I would watch all the conference tournaments. As I've gotten older, just harder to keep up having a 9 to 5 and having to keep up with all the sports. You kind of got to pick and choose. So college basketball has unfortunately been something that has taken a bit of a back seat for me in my sports world, but I still love the tournament. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the picks. Couple things I'll say. If you guys want to skip ahead a couple minutes to the picks, that's fine. I do use Ken Palm, which is, I lack of a better term, kind of college basketball sabermetrics. I was going to share the screen with both of my bracket and Ken Palm. It's just going to be too much to have to do that back and forth. So I will mention the Ken Palm rankings as I go through this. Listen, it's a one and done tournament. So, sabermetrics are meant to be, over a course of a season and everything. So, Ken Palm will not get every game right if you just go off of that. Is what it is. There's going to be upsets and stuff like that. I'm going to pick a few, but I will use the Ken Palm ratings to determine some of the closer matchups. And a lot of them are just gut feels. And like I said, just for fun. And my advice would be just have fun with your bracket. You're not going to have a perfect bracket. You're not. So if you're coming in and you want to be a snotty college basketball expert, you're not going to have a perfect bracket either. And neither will I. So let's get into it. Last year, I predicted Purdue to win the whole thing. They were out in the first round. So let's start. UConn versus Stetson. Obviously, I will go with UConn to beat Stetson. UConn, one of the top teams in the nation, and they should take care of the Stetson. I think the Hatters, is that what they're called? I think they're from Florida. FAU plays Northwestern in an 8-9 matchup. Obviously, Florida Atlantic had the Cinderella Final Four run last year. 8-9s, I go to Ken Palm, and these teams are very close. Florida Atlantic is 41st overall. Northwestern's 46th. I will say, though, I don't just go by, okay, Ken Palm has this team better overall than the other team. I do look at the adjusted offense and defensive rankings. There's also like a whole bunch of different stuff Ken Palm has. I think you can subscribe and get even more info from them. But I just kind of look at the O, the D, and the overall. And like I said, Florida Atlantic's better. They're 16th on offense, 109th for defense. Northwestern is 30th offense, 72 defense. So both teams pretty solid offensively, not great defensively. Northwestern's a little more balanced. I am going to go with Florida Atlantic, though. After their run last year, I have a feeling they'll get one win at least in this tournament here. So I will go ahead and take them. San Diego State plays UAB. I believe UAB was a team that just kind of had a conference tournament run and gets into the tournament. They are 106 on Ken Palm. I'm not going to go over every single Ken Palm ranking. San Diego State is 21st. 5-12 is a very, very common upset spot. And I will have a couple 12-5s, but not this one. San Diego State, last year's runner-up. I do have them, again, at least getting one win here. Auburn and Yale. Auburn is number 4 ranked in Ken Palm overall, so maybe a team that's a little underseeded. The little I do know about college basketball is I do know that Auburn, I guess, has had some trouble beating quad 1 teams. They've beaten up on lesser opponents. this is going to show my lack of knowledge with all this. So you guys have probably turned off the video already. I'm assuming KenPom is opponent adjusted. I can't imagine all these sabermetric type sites are opponent adjusted. So Auburn still comes out fourth overall. Yale barely beat Brown in their conference tournament, who wasn't good. I don't see any way Yale gets past Auburn. BYU and Duquesne. I'm going to go with BYU. They've been pretty good this year. Again, probably tired of me talking KenPom, but they're 16th overall. Hard to see them not beating a team that just kind of got hot in a conference tournament. I will take Illinois over Morehead State. This is going to be very chalky in the first round here. Washington State and Drake, a very interesting one. Washington State's 42nd on KenPom. Drake is 51st. Again, those 8, 9, 7, 10s, I really do try and lean on KenPom a bit. Just because when you don't know these teams, you want to see when they're that close where they match up. Washington State is 64th on offense, 27th on defense. Drake is 38th on offense, 75th on defense. So a little bit of a contrast. I tend to sometimes like the better offensive teams a little bit, but I am going to go with the Cougars here. That might be a little biased. I didn't go to Washington State, but some of my subs are probably Cougar fans. I do have probably a little Pac-10, Pac-12 biased in me. Just that's kind of the region I grew up in. So I will take the Cougars here, and I will take Iowa State over South Dakota State. I think Wagner beat Howard, or they were beating Howard. Either way, I'm going to take North Carolina there. Mississippi State and Michigan State, 8-9. We will look at KenPom. And Mississippi State's 30th overall, 60th on offense, 20th on defense. Michigan State's actually 18th overall, 57 on offense, 8 on defense. Michigan State's been very inconsistent, but I guess I do have some biases because I have a hard time going against Tom Izzo in the tournament. Michigan State is always a team that just seems dangerous when it's tournament time. Give me Michigan State. That to me, I think might be the best game though of the first round. Excited for that one. St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's about 30 minutes away from me. I love St. Mary's. They are actually a top 20 team, number 20 in KenPom. I'll tell you though, every time St. Mary's is always a team I have making a little bit of a run, and they just never seem to. Grand Canyon's 53rd overall. Grand Canyon's good enough, and I'm going to take them here. Like, St. Mary's is better. St. Mary's should win the game. I'm sure they're favored, but there's going to be a 12-5. There always is. And Grand Canyon's a pretty highly ranked team here at 53rd by KenPom. So I will go with Grand Canyon here to knock off St. Mary's. Alabama and Charleston. I was thinking of going with Charleston, but Alabama's a top 15 team by KenPom. They do not play any defense, but they are the second best offensive team in the nation. So I will go with Alabama to knock off Charleston. I think Charleston almost knocked off San Diego State last year, if I'm not mistaken. So give me Alabama there. Clemson, New Mexico. New Mexico ranks really well, 23rd overall in KenPom, 41st in offense, 23rd on defense, well-balanced team. They are actually ranked well ahead of Clemson, who sits at 34th in KenPom, 27th on offense, 67th on defense. A little contrast there. I'm going to go with New Mexico. Usually I feel like in these games on the lower seed or higher seed, however you want to look at it, but the team that is ranked lower, looks better by the metrics, they tend to win. I don't know. It just seems that way. So I'm going to go with New Mexico. Okay. If you're a Baylor fan, I'm going to go Colgate over Baylor. So here's my theory on this. I always like to take 14 or 15 seeds somewhere. It's just fun. It's fun to be the person that says, I called this upset. I have nothing against Baylor. I think last year Baylor's 14th in KenPom. They're a really good team offensively. Is Drew still the coach there? Scott Drew, really good coach. So again, if you're a Baylor fan, this is not personal. I like New Mexico. I think New Mexico is going to go on a run. So what I do with these upsets is I look at this game right here. Okay, do I think New Mexico can go on a run? Yes, or Clemson, whoever it may be. I do. So that's where I lean with these upsets. Because truthfully, when you take the upset here, this is now the bigger game. Clemson, New Mexico is now more, unless you're taking Colgate into the Sweet 16 or something like that. And just so you know, I'm not logged in here on ESPN. I do have this filled out on my account. I just wanted to show you my picks and reveal them. So this is now the bigger game. And I was going to have New Mexico beating Baylor anyways, just for fun. So I might as well go Colgate here as my big upset. And Colgate upset. And Colgate's been in the tournament. This is actually one of their lesser teams that they've had, but they have tournament experience. So you know what? Give me Colgate. Dayton and Nevada. Now, Dayton actually does come ahead of Nevada in Ken Pom. Dayton's 32nd, Nevada's 36th. Dayton really good offensively, 18th, but 87th defensively. Nevada's way more balanced, 40 and 36. If I'm not mistaken, I think Dayton's been kind of laboring coming into this tournament. So I am going to go with a little bit more balance here and go with Nevada. Arizona, Long Beach State. Arizona last year lost to Princeton in the first round. I don't see that happening again as a 2 seed. So give me Arizona. Back up here to the South region. Give me Houston over Longwood. Nebraska, Texas A&M, an old Big 12 matchup. I don't even know what Texas A&M is now the SEC and Nebraska is the Big 10. Go figure. Nebraska comes out 28th in Ken Pom overall. Very balanced. 36 offense, 30 defense. Texas A&M is 44th. Also pretty balanced. 31st offense, 57th defense. Should be a good game. I really like Buzz Williams. I've always been a fan of his at A&M, going back to his Marquette days as well. But I'm going to just lean Nebraska here. They rank out better. Both teams are balanced, and Nebraska is just the better team overall by Ken Pom. Again, got to have some 12-5s. Wisconsin comes out pretty solid. But James Madison, again, like Grand Canyon, is pretty solid too. 59th overall, pretty balanced team. I'm going to go with James Madison here in the upset. Like I said, I like to throw a few of the upsets in there. It makes it more fun. Give me James Madison. I'm just checking on my phone, make sure I'm getting my picks correct here. And then maybe this is a little biased. I'm not a Duke guy. Give me the Catamounts. I'm going to go Vermont. Vermont comes out on Ken Pom. They're 104th overall. They're not very good. They don't score very well. I don't know. For me, I have this core memory of Vermont winning in the tournaments when they beat Syracuse with Coppenrath and Sorensen from the parking lot with Gus Johnson. So I just have this thing for Vermont where I end up always taking them. And I don't know, I could be dead wrong on this. There always seems to be one 12v13 matchup in the second round. So this is going to be mine. Give me Vermont. Texas Tech and NC State. I think NC State was the last team in. Well, I guess not because they're not in the plan. NC State is 58th in Ken Pom, 47th offense, 89th defense. Tech grades out very well. They are 24th overall, and again, a very balanced team. So give me Texas Tech. Kentucky and Oakland, this was another one I thought about going with the upset here, but I think Calipari and company get one win. Kentucky's great offensively, terrible defensively. May hurt them here, but I will take them to beat Oakland. Boise State and Colorado. Actually, if we look at Ken Pom, Colorado comes out better than Florida. Boise does not. I'm going to go with Boise or Colorado. I may change that if Boise wins. I probably won't because I'll probably forget to go back in. But give me the winner. And there's always one play-in winner that seems to win a game. So give me Boise State, Colorado. I'll take Marquette over Western Kentucky. Marquette seems to maybe the most susceptible of these 2 seeds to a big upset. So we'll see what happens. But I do not have a 15 beating a 2. So give me Marquette here. Purdue will not lose another 116, and they're getting, I think that's Montana State or Grambling. They'll find a way. TCU, Utah State. We'll go back to Ken Pom for this one. TCU is 33rd overall, 44th offense, 31st defense, so well balanced. Utah State is 48th overall, fairly balanced too, 39 offense, 68 defense. Again, for me, TCU just grades out better there, so I'll go with TCU. Another very common upset I see people picking is Gonzaga and McNeese. There seems to be this that Gonzaga wasn't as good this year, and they certainly weren't as good as they've been in the past, but they are 15th in Ken Pom, 9th in offense, 46th in defense. McNeese is solid. They're 60th overall. They're kind of in there with Grand Canyon, James Madison. So one of these 12s-5s will happen, but again, maybe this is a Washington thing. I'm a little biased. Give me the Zags. Mark Few, I think, will find a way to get that one. Kansas and Samford. I wanted to take Samford here, but I'm just going to play it safe and go with the Jayhawks. I think they're a little banged up, if I'm not mistaken. They're 22nd overall in Ken Pom. They are a top 10 defense, but Samford isn't even I don't even know where Samford is on Ken Pom here. I'm here, but where is Samford? Maybe they're better than I thought. This is what you guys want to say. 81st overall. I mean, they're not awful, but I think Kansas will find a way there. South Carolina and Oregon. Again, you're going to see my Pac-12 bias, I think, showing here. So I guess I do have some bias, but who cares? South Carolina is ranked 49th by KenPom, and Oregon is ranked. Where is Oregon? Oregon is. Okay, Oregon, where are you? Oregon. I hate this when I can't. There's always that one you can't find. So South Carolina is 49th overall in KenPom, 46 offense, 54th defense. Oregon is, there we go, 55th overall. So Oregon's a little bit below South Carolina, 50th offense, 70th defense. I never know what to do with teams that like just won a conference tournament. Sometimes they flame out because they're just exhausted. Other times they carry the wave. And Oregon's done that before. They've gone on runs as a conference tournament champion. Also, my boy, if he's watching the sideline report, is an Oregon fan. So this one's for you, my man. If you're watching this, give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks to beat South Carolina there. I'm just going to go with their momentum. Again, I'm going to contradict myself a bunch in some of these picks, but give me Oregon here. Go ahead and give me Creighton over Akron, although that was one I thought about too. I'll take Texas over the Colorado State Virginia winner, and I will take Tennessee over St. Peter's. Let's go back to the top, UConn and FAU. I will take Connecticut. Did these two teams play last year in the Final Four? I think San Diego State played FAU. I don't remember who UConn played, to be honest. Houston? I don't remember. UConn over FAU. San Diego State, Auburn. I do not see San Diego State repeating the Cinderella. Auburn's just too good. Give me Auburn. This is kind of maybe my one chalky bracket here. And then I'm going to take BYU over Illinois. I actually think they come out better in KenPom. No, they don't. Illinois is ranked higher. Third offense, 93rd defense. But BYU is a little more balanced there. So I'm going to go with BYU to get on a little run here. And then I will take the outstanding defense of Iowa State. Iowa State is 5th in KenPom, 55th in offense. They are the top defensive team. I think they just match up well with Washington State. So give me Iowa State. So the Sweet 16 in the East region, UConn, Auburn, BYU, Iowa State. To the West, there's always one seed that seems to go down the second round. North Carolina is really good, but they are 9th in KenPom. They're the lowest ranked 1 seed. That doesn't mean they're bad at all. They're a really good team. They are ranked better than Michigan State, but not by a ton. It's a fairly even matchup overall. I'm going to go with the Spartans. There's always that 1, 8, 9 seed that just seems to go on a run. And give me Tom Izzo. Upset time, Grand Canyon over Alabama. Alabama is just so poor defensively that, and if you're an Alabama fan, it's not personal. But again, there always seems to be that one weird Sweet 16 matchup, right? Where it's like, how the heck is that matchup a thing? This is going to be it. Grand Canyon, the Lopes are in the Sweet 16, as is New Mexico. Holy cow, this West region is a mess. But we're going to get some semblance of normalcy here because I'm pretty sure I took Arizona. I hope I did. Yeah, I will take Arizona over Nevada to get to the Sweet 16. So New Mexico is a really underrated team. I think all these teams, while yes, it's a little wild, guys, like last year's Final Four had Florida Atlantic. We've seen VCU a year where they were the last team in and nobody thought they should be in the Final Four. Like old Chicago's been to a Final Four. Weird things happen in the tournament, so leave me alone if you don't like it. Houston, Nebraska, I'll take Houston. James Madison versus Vermont. I will go with James Madison just because I think my reasoning for that is that Vermont probably does not beat Duke. I think James Madison can beat Wisconsin, so I can't in good conscience put Vermont there. I think James Madison's the most likely. I'm going to take Texas Tech over Kentucky. I think they're just a little more balanced than Kentucky, and I'm going to go with the Red Raiders, and then I will take Marquette over Boise State or Colorado. The way I'm thinking of Colorado, we'll see what happens with that game. So that is the Sweet 16 in the South, and then let's head on down here to the Midwest. I will take Purdue over TCU. Give me Gonzaga. Give me the Bulldogs here. I feel like the 5 seed is just made for them. They get overlooked, and here they come. Here come the Bulldogs. They rank higher than Kansas on KenPom. So give me Gonzaga. The Ducks run continues. Give me Oregon to the Sweet 16. And then I will also be taking Tennessee over Texas. This was a tough one. I actually thought I took Texas for a second, but Tennessee is number 7th overall in KenPom. Texas is 27. The Rick Barnes revenge game there. Rick Barnes, former Texas coach, coaching Tennessee. Tennessee never seems to have good runs in the tournament, but I will take them over Texas there. So I think I have all the 2 seeds actually in the Sweet 16. That probably won't happen, but is what it is. Let me move ahead here to my Elite 8 so I make sure I have it correct. I'm going Auburn over UConn. I think it's really hard to repeat as champion. Listen, UConn is the best team in the country. This is not a slight. If you're a UConn fan, very good chance you win it. I promise you, UConn's what they do in the tournament will not be determined by what I do in my bracket. But Auburn can match the test. They match up well. Both teams are in the top 5, like I said, in KenPom. I know Auburn has not beaten the quad 1 teams, but I'm going to take them. Give me Auburn. I don't have any other reasoning other than that. And I will also take Iowa State and their defense to suffocate the BYU offense. And that is your Elite 8 matchup out of the East, Auburn versus Iowa State. Another thing I'll say, guys, too, is my bracket is not going to be very chalky. That's boring. I could have all 1 seeds in the Final Four, but no one wants to watch that video. So I like to mix it up. I got some upsets, but I think some realistic picks. Michigan State takes out the Grand Canyon Cinderella, and Arizona knocks off New Mexico. Let me just make sure that is what I picked before. Yes. So a pretty classic college basketball matchup there with Michigan State and Arizona. Let's move up to the South. Houston is number 2 by KenPom, 17th on offense. They're 2nd on defense overall. They'll end James Madison's run. And then Texas Tech and Marquette. Who did I take in this one? I actually took Texas Tech. Again, just compared to Marquette, like I said, Tech is 24th by KenPom. Marquette is, I just had them too. They're 12. So Marquette is better. 21st, 19th, 21st offense, 19th defense for Marquette. Tech is 23 and 45. I don't know. We're going with Texas Tech there to knock off Marquette. We're setting up a Big 12 matchup of Houston versus Texas Tech. Down here, give me the Zags. Gonzaga to the Elite 8, and their opponent will be... People are yelling outside. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Just there's some noise going on outside. Want to make sure it was. So yeah, I've got Gonzaga taking out Purdue. Listen, Purdue grades out better. I'm just going with my gut here and going with an upset. Nothing more I can say. Oregon and Tennessee. I will take Tennessee here over Oregon to end Dana Altman's run. So I do have Tennessee moving into the Elite 8. So we've got a 4 versus a 2, a 9 versus a 2, a 5 versus a 2, and a 1 versus a 6 in the Elite 8. First matchup, Auburn, Iowa State. I do worry here a little bit about Iowa State's offense. I'm going to go with the more balanced team. I'm going to take Bruce Pearl and company to get to the Final Four. Give me Auburn. And down here, there's always one. There's always 1 8 or 9 seed that seems to find their way to the Final Four. Give me Tom Izzo and Michigan State to the Final Four. Michigan State they're always making a deep run. Maybe they don't. I didn't realize Final Four's in Arizona. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Just saw that here. Final Four in Glendale. But give me Michigan State. Give me Houston. Houston is the 1 seed I've got making it deep. I just love their balance here. And, they're not the defending champs or anything. So I think they'll be motivated here to get in. Give me Houston. And then give me, let's make sure I had it. Yes. Give me Gonzaga to the Final Four. Why not? As a 5 seed, Mark Few and company make the run. And the championship game, we'll start here with the Houston-Gonzaga game. I will take Houston to the title game to end Mark Few's run. And I think Auburn will be a little much for Michigan State. So give me Auburn. And cutting down the nets is going to be, is Calvin Sampson still the coach? Let me check that real quick. I always like to make a thing of which coach is cutting down the net. I think it's still Calvin Sampson, isn't it? Basketball. This is the most professional. Yeah, it is Calvin Sampson still. So Calvin Sampson versus Bruce Pearl. There's a matchup. Cutting down the nets will be the Houston Cougars. I've got Houston winning the national title. Listen, at the end of the day, Houston, number 2 in Ken Palm, 17th offense, second on defense. They can score, they can stop you. I know there's a lot of teams that can do that. That's not anything super unique, but that is my college basketball bracket. Again, this is just for fun. If you don't like the picks, make your own bracket. Pick whatever you want. It's a mix of some sabermetrics, a mix of just having fun with it. It's meant to be fun. There's guys, I have had Final Fours that have come close. I actually did predict the Final Four once when I was in high school. No evidence of that left over. I've also had years where my Final Four is gone in the first round. So, take these picks with a grain of salt. It was really just for you guys to see, to have a good time. So that is my predictions. Have a great night, everybody. Let me know your picks. And everything like that. And I hope you guys have a great night. And I'll be back later this week with some more videos. Say go Mariners or go Seahawks, but I guess go college basketball chaos. Peace.